Hello, I'm David Spicer, coming to you from Stage Whispers Magazine television, but for the first time ever, live. And this is a new, bold, exciting initiative where we can stream on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page, and we can talk about theatre issues. We can bring on special guests, and we can even republish your comments on our Facebook pages. So we're very excited about this initiative, but we should point out that we're learners, and this is the first time. So I've had terrible bloopers when I was at the ABC. I was at the big. I had the first 30 seconds of an ABC news bulletin going. So there's no blooper that will ever top that. But we're here to celebrate a new print edition. Ta-da! Which, of course, you can see digitally. And we're going to be speaking to some of our reporters and a special guest as well. And here's the cover. Boy Swallows Universe, on stage now, Queensland Theatre Company, smash hit production of the very popular Australian novel. And what else is in the magazine? Well, here's the first section, beautiful pictures, and we're concentrating on great stagecraft. We're speaking to the theatre makers. That's the theme of this particular edition. Sadly, of course, theatre world in New South Wales and Victoria is on ice. That's the subject of our second article. And then we're looking at Broadway, because Broadway is reopening. And Peter Penny's got a comprehensive look at what's happening on the West End and Broadway. And Coral Druin has written a fantastic feature on the ladies of the stage. Now, you might think that the men are the ones that dominate Broadway, but she argues convincingly with her own inimitable style that it's the women who are the leading ladies of Broadway. Plus, we're looking at the Sydney Theatre Company, their amazing stagecraft in building sets. I speak to three stage designers. We've got a play excerpt, playing Beatty Bow by Kate Mulvaney. And then we've got this wonderful feature on behind the scenes with Deb Krizak. She's talking about dogs and animals on the stage, and that's we're going to be speaking with Deb shortly. So there's that feature as well. Then we've got, of course, book reviews, CDs, and a special supplement, Let's Put On a Show. Kimberly Shaw from Western Australia, she's got a director's diary about putting on Into the Woods, and she had two plagues to deal with. One was, of course, COVID-19. The other was floods. So she's written a great feature. Plus, we're looking at costumes and props and all the other tools that you need to put on a show, reviews, new releases. So it's a packed edition, and we're going to be talking about it. And it's the September, October, November edition of Stage Whispers magazine, because it's a bit of a slow time. So we'll be back with our special guests in just a moment. But let's hear again from the Stage Whispers Studio Orchestra under Maestro Philip Tyson. So, remember I said I had my L play. Every time something like that happens, I'll raise that. I'd now like to introduce... I've got some news first. First of all, the news around the grounds. Come From Away is reopening next month. Very exciting that the first major musical to open will be Come From Away in October. You can buy tickets now. Not so good news in Melbourne. The roadmap announced by Premier Dan Andrews has disappointed many in the arts, because as we understand at the moment, they can only have performances with up to 150 people by November. So that's disappointed some artists. But the big news from Stage Whispers magazine is that we have saved the Book Nook Performing Arts bookshop from closing. That's been a big project for myself, David Spicer, Neil Litchfield, our editor, and Angela Thompson in Melbourne. We've saved the bookshop. And you can go there now and buy up to 2,000 books. It's a very important service. We're excited about it. And until the end of the month, we are going to donate 15% of everything that's sold to needy actors and crew around Australia. So that's our special initiative to help people less fortunate. And we'll be hearing a special guest talking exactly how much the challenge is for performing artists at the moment. Now, I'd now like to bring in our special guests on our first ever episode of Stage Whispers Television. Oh, here we go. And they're all waving now. I've got them on mute, remember? Don't forget, I've got my L plates on now. So I'm now going to unmute them. Here we go. There we go. There, Beth Keehn. Hello, Beth.
Hello. Hi, David. Hi, Glenn. Hi, Deb.
Now I'm going to unmute Glenn. Here we go. Hello, Glenn.
Howdy doody, nice to be here, and hello to Neil Litchfield if you're out there and you're watching, my old friend. Nice to be a part of your inaugural TV show.
And Deb Krizak.
Hi everybody, I come here from lockdown in Sydney with Lulu, the puppy dog.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now, Neil Litchfield, I invited him onto this broadcast, but he's got lockdown beard and a lockdown hair, and he's a bit shy. He looks like a garden gnome at the moment. So when he as soon as he's allowed out and he can shave properly, he's going to be on. So first of all, we're going to go around the grounds and we're going to talk a little bit about the next issue. Now, on the cover is Boy Swallows Universe by the Queensland Theatre Company, and the cover writer for this edition, Beth Keehn, it's your first time you've made the cover of Stage Whispers magazine.
It's my first cover feature for Stage Whispers, so thank you very much, David. It was a fantastic story to get into. You probably know, everyone knows the best-selling novel by Trent Dalton. It's been a bestseller for years internationally, and this stage adaptation by Tim McGarry has been about 3 years waiting in the wings. Tim was working on it right up until rehearsal week, as you'll read in the article, and it was a much-awaited, much-anticipated stage adaptation. It was due this time last year to open the Brisbane Festival, but it got caught in lockdown. So unfortunately for the cast and crew, they've been on hold for a year. Some of them have managed to work during that time on other productions. Some people like Renee Mulder, the costume and set designer, has been working behind the scenes and visiting lots of op shops and searching online for some of those key pieces, because as you may know, the story is set in Brisbane, in the suburbs at Darra in the 80s. With a lot of key Brisbane scenes, Story Bridge, the City Hall clock tower, and you've just got to have those 80s key pieces. So Renee's done a fantastic job there. But yeah, the cast and crew, I spoke to not the cast, but all the backstage creatives. John Reed, their fantastic stage manager, set up a Zoom chat for us. So I've spoken to Sam Strong, the director, Tim McGarry, the playwright. He was caught in Brisbane in lockdown, and he said he was very grateful to be stuck in sunny Queensland. He's been working on the script. Renee Mulder, the designer, Nerida Matthaus did some fantastic movement work in this show. It's hard to describe until you've seen the show, but it's a sort of a blend of dance and movement, and it really suits the stage adaptation. Craig Wilkinson, of course, has done a fantastic video design, bringing to life some of those key local scenes. And I must say, as a Brisbaneite, it is fantastic to see Brisbane on the stage. It was just brilliant. Ben Hughes did the lighting design, and Steve Francis did the sound design. And Steve was the only key player who couldn't make it to Brisbane, unfortunately. I spoke to him for Stage Whispers back in April this year, and he was really looking forward to getting to town. Lots of friends in Brisbane, and he usually stays with a friend and sets up in her garage, little home studio. But he was stuck in Sydney in lockdown, so he was only one of the creatives who had to join the crew and cast by Zoom. But he was doing
wonderful.
that every day, and it was great. Yeah.
So Beth, the $64 question is: what's better, the book or the play?
I could get into trouble for this, David, but I don't tell anyone, but I actually prefer the stage adaptation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's great that, here you've got this great Australian story, and they've put fantastic resources into the production to make it, all the state, because our state theatre companies, if they could produce great Australian stories, and and they've had plenty of time to craft it, haven't they? Because it's been delayed so much. Your article in the current edition of the magazine, it really looks at the stagecraft, and congratulations on your article. Now, I'd now like to move to Deb Krizak, who's a performer extraordinaire, music theatre background, the Carpenters from Kempsey. And Deb, you're in lockdown. I mean,
I'm in lockdown, but
have you coped?
So was Kempsey. Kempsey just got thrown into lockdown as well. So I'm not so sure what Daz and Shaz are doing right now. Apparently, it's two members from the same family too. So watch out, Daz and Shaz.
How much work have you lost, Deb?
Oh my gosh, everything. Like initially, I just thought this is going to be 2 to 4 weeks, and then I thought, it's probably 8 weeks, and I just cried for about 2 weeks. I lost like a couple of shows, but not only that, but all the cabaret work and all the other work that you establish in the interim, and they were all sold out because luckily, since COVID 2020, people are desperate to go out again, and really we're supporting live theatre, and theatres were filling, and cabaret tickets to shows were, with minimal effort, selling out. So we had all these sold out shows, and all gone. My kids are home, and my dog's going to bark now. Sorry.
That's all right.
Managed to get a gig during lockdown on TV. So I had 3 weeks of work with a nice little cute role on that. And the very first day that I went to shoot, by 11 a.m. that morning, I'd shot a couple of scenes, and I was called into the trailer to say that Parramatta LGA just got thrown into lockdown, or locked in lockdown, which is another degree of lockdown if you're watching from some other state that's not Victoria or New South Wales. And so I had to go home, and they had to recast. So, the hits just keep on coming. But I guess, we're confident now that, New South Wales have done the right thing. And Mamma Mia is coming back again for Riverside Theatre next year. So we'll start rehearsals virtually next week. So that's exciting. And I guess we can't look at what we've lost anymore. We just have to just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and just hoping that it's going to be better, and that when it opens again, we'll have everybody coming out and supporting live theatre, because we all need it and miss it.
Absolutely. Now, you've started a series behind the scenes, and you've got this wonderful picture of Lucy. So, and your feature is all about animals on the stage. So
animals on the stage.
Yes. So give us a sneak, give us a taste, a sort of a
all right. So this is Lulu dog. So Lulu's a puppy. She's a schmoodle, which is a Maltese Shih Tzu mixed with a toy poodle. She wants to go away now, so I'm going to give it to my daughter who's just come home. I just found myself in lockdown. What do we do? Like, I wanted to do a behind the scenes feature, obviously, like I've been doing every, couple of months for you at Stage Whispers. And I didn't really have any kind of desire to do anything on anyone, because everybody was shut down and I couldn't really find any way in. So I thought, who are some of these professionals working behind the scenes that are still having to work, even though we're in lockdown, and have still kind of got careers? And I thought about animal trainers, and I thought their job doesn't start and end on the stage. Theirs starts for months before a show. So I had a bit of a think, and I'm Facebook friends with a wonderful lady called Peter Clark. And she does a lot of stuff with animals for live theatre and film and TV. And so I contacted her, and she was very happy to be part of my interview process, and also the beautiful Lucy Durack as well. So I did a whole behind the scenes issue on the involvement of training animals for stage, and what it's actually like to be an actor working with these animals, and how it changes their process, their rehearsal process, when they have to bond with an animal that's not theirs. And it was really interesting. Lucy told me so many wonderful things about how, only certain members of the cast were allowed to actually, touch and visit those dogs, because that rapport had to be just with those members of the cast. So I guess, so an animal wouldn't just run to everybody they see on a stage. And all of the work that goes into training animals using scent of smell, and and I got a puppy in lockdown. What can I say? So I got a puppy, and I'm like, how the heck am I going to train this puppy?
Now, your dog, I hear you made a discovery about your dog. It's got show business in its blood.
Yes. What are the chances? So this little This little pup came from Goulburn, so it was a bit of a production just getting it over, but it was an only pup that was stuck with a family actually because of the commute with the lockdowns. And so I actually hired a personal driver to be able to pick it up from Goulburn and rescue this pup because the family were very concerned that it was going to bond with them, and they were on a farm, but they didn't want any more dogs. So we found out later when she came to us, I got a lovely email from the breeder saying to me, oh, by the way, Lulu is a show dog. Her father is a toy poodle and he does a lot of tricks for shows, and I was blown away, as if we need more entertainment people in my family. My daughter does it, my husband's in the entertainment industry, there's me, and I'm like, I have a dog that's a show pony as well.
I'm surprised you didn't have the dog put down straight away when you found out that it was a rival.
You can't say that.
All right, sorry.
I've got the puppy treats out and she's rolling over, she's up on hind legs.
Beautiful.
She's doing it all. It took her no time at all. I was like, yeah, it's in the blood. It's in
Beautiful.
the blood.
Now, I'd like to bring in our final special guest, Glenn Hazeldine, actor extraordinaire with the Sydney Theatre Company movies, and you're also the Deputy Chair of the New South Wales Actors Benevolent Fund, which we'll get to in the moment. But have you ever appeared on stage with a mutt or a cat?
No, I don't think I have. We had a turtle in Arcadia, but it was a mechanical turtle, so it wasn't real. I don't think I've ever worked with any live animals.
So how has the lockdown been for you, Glenn?
Look, I won't lie to you. It's been really rough. Working I'm an actor myself, so I'm very aware of, how much work hasn't been happening for me over the last 18 months to almost 2. Well, it won't be long before it's 2 years. Also, I work for the Sydney Theatre Company in fundraising. I work with the philanthropy team, so I'm very conscious of what it takes to keep a company alive during these fallow periods. And then also working for Actors Equity, as I do, I'm very conscious of what it is to for a union organisation to try and keep maintaining its productivity at a time when people can't afford to pay their fees. And then working for the Actors Benevolent Fund of New South Wales, I am so aware of how much struggle there is in the broader community, and it's been a really I can't say it any other way. It's been rough.
Yes, and do you see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, or is it sort of still this pessimism that we just don't know when it's going to be solved? Look,
I think there is a glimmer of light. And the Sydney Theatre Company is in great shape. These companies are being very well managed. So, once things are ready to go again, all the theatre companies will be ready to bring content back to the stages. The Benevolent Fund is in amazing shape. We've had some great support from the community and also some private foundations and the city of Sydney. So there's money there to help people. I'm optimistic. But it has been a really long, period since March.
Yes. And so what does the Benevolent Fund do? How does it work in brief?
Okay. So throughout Australia, there are 5 Australian. There's one in New Zealand as well, the New Zealand Actors Benevolent Fund. But Queensland, WA, South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales have benevolent funds or their equivalents. And what we do is we raise money to help artists, not just actors, despite our name. We help anybody that works in showbiz and makes their professional livelihood from the arts. We help people when times get rough, when they hit a crisis. And indeed, since March 2020, we have been in a crisis, and there has been an incredible need for support of the artistic community. And so we've got into overdrive as a committee. We're a committee of 13 industry professionals. We work voluntarily, we raise money, and then we also try and get the money into the mouths and hands of people that desperately need it.
Now, of course, people could look up the website and make a donation, and you've got a big campaign in October. There'll be lots of and as I said before, with the launch, with Stage Whispers taking over Book Nook, we're donating 15% of all sales until the end of the month to the national organisation, and I think we've raised a couple of $100 already. Woohoo! So there we go. We've been, our organisation, Stage Whispers, has been helped because we're a company by various state and federal governments. So we've sort of had a soft landing during this particular time, but that it's a bit of luck. I mean, if you've got a corporate structure, you're getting money, but if you're a freelancer, you're like an actor who doesn't have an ABN, then you've got to basically get another job, or or struggle.
And many of us, that other job is in hospitality, which is also
Yes.
not actually alive and well. So at the moment, so it's particularly tough. And thank you to Stage Whispers and you and everybody who made this happen. And congratulations on the new venture.
Yeah, thank you. Well, look, I just like to toss a few issues around because I'm just wondering. Just in May, theatre was booming. It wasn't it? It was just like it was Sydney was selling out. Now, the thing is, Beth, you're in Brisbane, so is theatre booming now in Queensland?
It certainly is. I've been reviewing a lot fewer shows than in the middle of the year. As you said, it was really, really busy, and it might be a little bit quieter, but certainly at QPAC the other day, it was a full house for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. All the theatres over there are full. Queensland Theatre. There's a lot of community theatre on at the moment. Our other reviewer, Peter Penny, he is so busy going out to the suburbs and reviewing all our wonderful community groups as well. So people feel very lucky. Audiences are in a great mood, and any performers that you talk to are absolutely grateful that they have the opportunity to work.
Now, my question for you is, are they wearing masks inside theatres in Brisbane at the moment?
Yes, we are wearing masks in the theatres, yeah. Some of the shows are sort of spaced out,
right.
A few seats in between. Other shows are a little bit busier, depending on the venue. But people are definitely wearing masks and checking in with the codes.
Because I did notice a bit of apathy inside theatres in June and May in Sydney. Because, I went to a theatre, I won't name it, but my wife, who's a nurse, midwife at the public hospital system, the limo man had been out and about for 3 days, and then we walked into a little theatre in Sydney, and she put a mask on, and she looked around the theatre and could not believe her eyes that 90% of the people were not wearing masks when the limo man had been out for 3 days. So I think that we became apathetic in Sydney. I think there has not been transmission in the theatre, so it is a safe place. But I think wearing a mask inside a theatre is after this lockdown, it's going to be compulsory, isn't it, for a long time? What do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised if we do go back to a stricter mandate on masks, and I don't have a problem with it personally. My glasses fog up, but that's I can adjust to that. That's the worst of it, really. I think a good thing.
What do you think, Deb? Is it going to be compulsory wearing masks?
Look, I think at least until the end of this year, we're going to see that especially when we hit that 70% double dose, the restrictions are going to be there in general. Like, we're going to have at least till the end of the year, and I think probably flowing over to January, February next year as well. I think we will get to a stage where we have the majority of the population vaccinated, and it will be by choice. And if it is by choice, I think you'll find a lot of people will choose not to wear a mask. I don't know, but just by judging on those last couple of months before we went into this next lockdown, like you say, there were a lot of people not wearing them.
But we had no there was no coronavirus at the time.
Happens, isn't it? There was nothing happening at the time, but
it is going to be different.
Way of life. Children are now being told they're going to have to wear masks at school. So, I see while that's going, I can't see any of us being able to go outdoors without any kind of mask protection on, especially in the theatre. And if it means we keep the theatres open, so be it. Who cares?
Yes.
We just need masks with a straw or something so we can sort of sip our little smart little cocktail while we're watching our show and have the best life.
Yes, that's right. Yes, but it's going to be different because we've never had theatres open with a lot of COVID about. Because it's going to open in Sydney in October when there's going to be 1,000 probably, because they've said October's going to be the worst month for deaths because there's then going to be there's going to be an epidemic of the unvaccinated.
Well, this is the thing, but we all know, don't we, that, this is the choice. Unless there's a medical reason that you can't get vaccinated, if you choose not to, then perhaps theatres aren't the place to go for that 20%, and perhaps they won't be allowed in at that 20%. It's up to the businesses to decide. It's a debate that goes on every single day in social media. For myself, I figure I've had all the other vaccinations. Let's get on with this and let's just band together as a community and get things happening again for our children, for our livelihoods, for our theatres, for our artistic community, for everything, our local businesses. We need to get back out, and we need to do it sooner rather than later. So if that means that people wear masks for longer and, exercise caution with social distancing, bring it on.
Well, that was the Stage Whispers Orchestra under the baton of Philip Tyson, our maestro. You're watching the first ever Stage Whispers TV live broadcast. As I said, we've had I've had my L plates on. It's hasn't gone too badly. What I mean, the thing is, we're hoping that theatres are going to open more fully soon, but it's certainly going to be a fragile comeback, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be tentative, and how much confidence can producers of theatre have, given that you had the extraordinary situations of productions closed down with 4 hours notice. I mean, in the current edition of the magazine, in Melbourne, they were getting ready for to open a play, and it was closed with 3 hours notice. And in Queensland, I mean, Beth, you're saying that there's a lot of people in the theatre at the moment, but your premier, she's not shy of shutting down businesses. So I mean, and there's no insurance for COVID. I mean, it's a very difficult time for producers. What's your perspective, Glenn?
Look, I'm very aware of how eager audiences are to get back in there, and if that means, where, as Deb says, if it means being disciplined about wearing masks, I think people will do it because they're really desperate to get back and watch live theatre and musicals again. So, my gut says that audiences are ready to get back in there. I think there is definitely a huge risk for independent producers. It's a world I can't even fathom myself. But looking at the Sydney Theatre Company, there has been such goodwill from audiences, donating tickets back, or putting them to one side and saying, look, we're happy to kind of, don't give us a refund. We're happy to come and see it whenever it happens. Audiences they understand the struggle. For the most part. So I think the companies are in good, we're ready. The companies are ready to jump back in there and have a crack. I just think we all have to do our bit to make sure that we keep everybody else safe while we're doing it. And that's a no-brainer. It's easy.
Hit the nail on the head. Do our bit. We all have to do our our bit collectively to make this work. And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Beth, we're all jealous. We're all jealous of you up there in Queensland.
No, I can't tell you how much I want to see that show.
I know. I hope you can get up here soon.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Travel soon.
Yeah. You think that Boy Swallows Universe will have to be picked up by the other state companies, because it's sort of, it ticks every box.
There was a hint that there are obviously discussions about touring, but so much depends on what happens in other states and overseas.
Yeah.
Yes.
With lockdown. So fingers crossed. We want to
Fingers
see
crossed.
touring.
Yes. All right. Well, look, I thank Beth Keehn, who's a reporter for Stage Whispers, Deb Krizak, performer and columnist for Stage Whispers, Glenn Hazeldine, actor and Deputy Chair of the New South Wales Actors Benevolent Fund. I'm David Spicer for Stage Whispers. You've been listening to the very first episode of Stage Whispers Live to coincide with our new print edition. We still have a print edition. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Sponsored by the Victorian and New South Wales and federal government, so keeping us afloat. And you can here's the cover with Boy Swallows Universe on the cover. The amazing production in Queensland. Let's Put On a Show supplement, Theatre on Ice, West End and Broadway opening. And, of course, we've just recently taken over Book Nook Performing Arts, which has got 2,000 books and everything else. And we're donating 15% of box office. There we go. To the Actors Benevolence Association of Australia, the Australasian one. So that's good. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll stay safe. And we hope to see you in a crowded but perhaps masked foyer very soon.
Thank you. That was good. Well done.
We're going to end the broadcast.